In the Nazca region of Peru, Gaia investigators uncovered a female mummified humanoid that the team named Maria. She also had an elongated skull with mysterious DNA.
It is interesting because the DNA analysis for Maria had a 20% matching homology to the human reference genome. That's what we saw with the Y chromosome for the elongated skulls. Very interesting. I could offer some speculation on that. Maybe the father looked more like Maria, that kind of hominoid form. That would be in agreement with the similarity between only 20% matches up with the human reference genome, just like what was seen with Maria.
Other medical specialists examined Maria. What they observed were anomalies similar to those from the Paracas region. Dr. M.K. Jesse, a musculoskeletal radiologist at the University of Colorado Hospital in Denver, looked at the scans.
The shape of the skull is interesting. It's very elongated, an atypical appearance of a human skull like you and I know. The skull, I don't see any suture lines. There's no bones that are separate in the skull. They all appear fused. So this appears to be a solid structure.
If the CAT scans and X-rays proved it was organic bone, and the bones didn't seem to be altered, could this be evidence of a new species? Angel Romero, a genomic specialist from Mexico, seems to think that may be so.
I have to say that this sample contains DNA that we currently don't know. It could be from an organism that has not been studied. Perhaps there was some microbiological contamination of the samples, but it could also be original DNA from these bodies. That means that these bodies could belong to a previously unknown species.
What the DNA results reveal from the Nazca mummy Maria are striking anomalies similar to those from the Paracas samples.
Of the DNA that was isolated, only 25% of the total matched any known human gene. So that means that 75% of this DNA is not matching any known human reference sequence. And this is pretty rigorous because there's like the 1,000 Human Genome Project, where they have done whole genome sequencing of over 2,000 individuals from every continent on Earth and compiled kind of like a average human reference genome. And so you take these sequences isolated from the sample with this being, and you go and you compare them to that human reference genome data, and only 25% match up. 75% don't.
The initial question we asked of gene sequencing laboratories in Canada, Mexico, and Russia was, does this DNA match any modern human DNA, or any DNA in their databanks? The answer from all three labs was no.
We know about the carbon-14 analysis that Maria is 1,700 years old. We know that the structure of the body is not similar to human beings. We know that the head is elongated, that the eyes were bigger than ours. That's more or less what we know of Maria.
While remarkably similar anomalies are found in both Nazca and Paracas, the question remains, what might these be?
When we examine these larger natural genetic specimens of elongated skulls we find in Paracas of Peru, we have to ask ourselves, could this larger brain capacity be the product of beings that never evolved here? I tend to think that's the case, especially when we look at the differences between the Paracas skulls and even the Incan royalty, who exhibited various genetic abnormalities.
I know for sure that some extraterrestrials had sex with humans. Definitely. Just read the Bible. In the beginning, when the sons of the gods saw that the daughters of men were beauty, they took them to wife. Which sons of the gods? There are no sons of the gods. God has no sons. It was the extraterrestrials. Read the Book of Enoch. The Book of Enoch gives the name of the guardians of the sky. And 36 of them went down to the planet Earth. And they had definitely sex with humans, which is written in the Book of Enoch. And the result were giants. And the giants had elongated heads. That's why the humans adored them. The humans were afraid of them. Later, the humans copied it. They wanted to look like them. There was definitely a sexual contact between extraterrestrials and humans.
A recent publication has disclosed that the Paracas skulls have 60% more mass, as well as being 25% larger than a human skull, with mounting evidence that the elongated skulls in Peru may be of unknown genetic origins, or possibly even extraterrestrial. Is it possible we need to re-examine our human history?
It challenges our histories. It challenges us because the narrative has to be completely torn apart and rewritten again. And I don't think that traditional academia has wanted to look at that up till this point.
To me, what happened with the elongated heads and what it says about humanity is that we don't have all of the ingredients to be able to understand the evolution of humanoids and what eventually produced the Homo sapiens sapien. We're missing links. All of a sudden, this Homo sapiens sapien occurs, which has a larger skull, right? Almost a doubling of the brain size, and so on, much smaller stature, that this change happened as a result of an alteration of the gene that was done by external means.
They were special people, probably hybrids, probably they were created. That we don't know. Or probably they were a special race that disappeared, that they were here and disappeared, or they come from somewhere else and they left. It's very difficult to understand this, but the only thing we know for sure is that those heads were not deformed, were not created by other human beings. They are natural, and behind them has to be a fascinating story.
Is it possible that their ancestors came from another star system? My mind and my heart and my body and spirit are open to those possibilities because they are such an anomaly. Were their ancestors alien? It's possible. Were they to some degree alien? That's possible. Were they a hybrid of human and some closely related life form from this planet or beyond? That we don't know. But what we do know definitively is they were not Homo sapiens sapiens.
I think it's entirely possible that this progenitor group with elongated skulls had bred and intermingled with various groups of ancient peoples. And as time went on and this lineage started to dissipate, it was mimicked, it was copied with the artificial deformation. And this group may have disappeared into the background, they may have gone home to whatever planet they came from, but one thing is for certain, that they were here on our planet. They influenced our cultures, our religions, our art, and they made a gigantic impact.
It is without doubt that humans around the world practiced intentional cranial modification to venerate ancient beings of advanced culture. But who were they venerating? Could the people of Europe or the Middle East have migrated to the Americas long before it's conventionally believed? Is it not as likely that the unusual characteristics of the Paracas skulls may possibly be extraterrestrial in origin? When DNA testing reveals characteristics that cannot be identified in a worldwide database, does this prove the case? As ongoing efforts to examine the elongated skulls continue, Perhaps one day we may trace our human origins to our cosmic family.